So back on the bike, narrow way chainring, bolt Loctited. Just cruising to get warmed up. And it's really windy. And we've got chain jam already. Yeah, chain jam already. This is SRAM's fault for making shit derailleurs. What the hell? So the chain came off the jockey wheel here and got wedged 2 times on this bike in 2 days riding. And I think this is because I'm sure everyone who's got a SRAM drivetrain will have had this happen once. Sometimes the chain pops off the lower jockey wheel and the lower jockey wheel turns half a link, and then the narrow wide teeth are out of sync with the narrow wide parts of the chain, and sometimes you just ride along and it'll be like vibrating. So I think what's happened is while riding the chain's popped off out of the narrow wide sync. Then this bike doesn't have any chain growth on the top chain because it's a high pivot type design, but there is a lot of chain growth. There's more chain growth on the lower chain line, so as the suspension cycles you're actually getting more movement here from the derailleur, and when this gets put under stress it can pull the chain off the side of the jockey wheel and then pull it between the jockey wheel and the cage. And we've checked this mech, we've checked to see if it's bent. Maybe if it's bent there'll be more space for the chain to go between the jockey wheel and the cage. Looks perfectly fine to me. It's had a couple of knocks but nothing's bent out of place. It should be fine, so that's why I think the chain came off twice and jammed. Right, fucking she's go well now. Oh. That was amazing. We did I think that was about 3 minutes of trail and just the one annoying chain jam from the jockey wheel. The balance is better now. Front end a bit higher, rear a bit lower, but it has exacerbated the real weak shock tune. Feels a bit like you got a puncture, too soft. We've gone harder in the tyre pressure today. I know it's 23 psi in the back with a double down. Some tyre roll sometime, but it's more the shock just not pushing back as you push against it. Oh, this is bloody good now, really nice. Boy, not looking where I'm going. We also packed a load of grease into the rear hub to quiet it down. It was so angry last time. It's quite a lot more relaxing now. Oh yeah, we also put a load of rubber tape on the bash guard and spaced the bash guard across. So yeah, that's a lot quieter. And I've done half a run now and the chain is still on. I'm scared to look at the bolt. The fork, man! The fork. Let's see if we can bounce off the steering lock on this corner again. Whoa! Yeah. So that felt really good. The balance is better. The bike's just sitting now in a much nicer position, but still just going through too much rear travel.
They sort of improved it by dropping the spring rate another 25 pounds and increasing the handlebar height with a 5mm spacer. So it's improved like the general ride dynamic, but exacerbated the lack of compression, so now it's really soft. Also, I had quite a few back end like kick outs, not really drift, definitely not drifts, like kick outs, and that's normally from turning to a corner, hit a bump, there's not enough compression damping, the wheel moves too fast to stay connected to the bump.
Okay, I'll try to explain that more concisely and quickly. Riding your bike down a trail, this is the bike, you lean into a corner to go around the corner. When you're in the corner, leant over, assuming the ground's flat, your force is pushing this way. Then you hit a bump. If there's not enough compression damping, like in this case, you go around the corner, you hit the bump, and the wheel will accelerate through the travel too quickly and come off the bump. 2D view, bump, wheel coming along, hits the bump, accelerates through the travel too much, comes off the ground, and then you're in the air, and then you have no grip because you're not connected to the ground. If you leant over, in this case, you hit the bump and the wheel comes off the ground and it can kick out. In a perfect world, if you had enough compression damping, even on wet routes or rocks, the compression will slow the wheel down enough to keep the tyre connected to the ground, and you'll still grip, yeah, even on wet routes and rocks.
Wow, 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 wow. Ah. Oh, I just caught my little toe on a rock. Through that stuff, it's beautiful. Just floating through it. Ah, my toes. Oh, a little doggy. Camouflage dog in the corner. So yeah, the shape of the bike's great. After we dropped the spring rate 150 pounds lower than Norco's recommendation, it feels like it's in the right shape now and sitting in the right part of the travel to me. I'm not a bike engineer, I'm not the expert. I'll double check the sag, I don't know what it is off the top of my head now, and I'll stick that underneath. But yeah, it feels like it's in the right point of the sag, everything's working well. We don't know how much sag there should be because Norco won't recommend how much sag you should have because people can get it wrong, which I partially agree that people can get it wrong and there are different ways to do it, but really you should have a sag number to aim for because all the dynamics of the bike, the anti-squat, the anti-rise, the ridge ratio, all that will be designed around a certain point in the travel where it's optimum for being at the sag point while you're riding. Oh God, come on. It's a lot harder. Whoa. The track's a lot harder to ride than the other day. Covered in leaves. And the light. Oh, man, the light is harsh. It does almost feel really good. The chain hasn't come off, which is good. It's really quiet. Dynamic ride shape is better, a lot better. Yeah, all the parts I put on seem to be working well. And the parts are modified, which we spent hours doing. But yeah, the bash guards, and I got rubber on it. And makes a lot less noise. It's also closer to the chainring, which should help keep the chain on. And we filled this boy up with Sugru to massively reduce the amount of space around the chain to stop that coming off as well. Really, just with just some more compression damping, we will be done. It's close. We've almost made a working mountain bike. Yeah, she's tracking. She's tracking good, holding the line. I'm riding really bad today. Ay, ay, ay. Big old understeer there. I'm not riding very well today. Don't feel amazing. The light's hard and the leaves are hard. And it's first run. Hopefully I'll get warmed up. We'll see. Oh God. Oh. Yeah, just understeer, man, just blowing through the travel. Yeah, even the brakes actually go all the way down a hill, down a mountain, without overheating. They've been designed to work or something for mountain biking. And these are cross-country brakes. Cross-country brakes actually work for downhill. One whole run, chain stayed on, everything stayed on. Can't believe it. I'm riding rubbish, and yeah, just need to get warmed up. No excuses. Yeah, just pounding through rear travel. If I spent another 750 bucks on a Kitsuma, that would probably solve it. Or get the RockShox shock retuned, but really struggling to find someone to do it. Mostly positive. We did it. Sugru, new chainring, adjusted chain guide, rubber tape, all new parts, and we've got a bike that we can have a half decent ride on. I'm sort of really happy. Also just sort of, I've been way more excited if we'd done the same amount of work on something that already worked and made it way better, but all we've done is waste loads of time making something work that should have already worked, and spent loads of money and not made any money back. But the next thing to see is about the warranty job on the cracked ISCG mount. Interested to see the answer from that. Hopefully that'll come in today. I rode from the top of the hill, top of the mountain to the bottom of the mountain on a mountain bike, all the way down.
Fair enough.
You excited?
Yeah, well, I'm excited more about the coffee.
We did it. We went mountain biking on a mountain bike in beautiful weather, down a beautiful trail, on a beautifully expensive, now 7 or 8 grand bike. We did a mountain bike ride and it worked, but the problems of the bolts and the chain coming off aren't a warranty problem, and it's my fault really. But we've fixed them by changing the parts, so I think it is the manufacturer's fault for speccing the wrong parts and not adjusting it and tuning it correctly. Let me know what you think in the comments. Second run, let's see if the bolts come off. I'm not sure if I'm really happy we actually managed to make it work, or just relieved, or just glad it's over. Lol. It's a bloody good bike now, it's nice. Oh, bloody good now, it's usable. It's riding really good. Smooth, quiet, tracks a really good line, leans over nicely. I think the fork offset might be a bit extreme. Still getting some sketchy understeer. Yeah, it could just be that lack of compression again. Okay, keep saying it. On the rear shock. Yeah, it's good, the balance is great. Finally feels like the sag properly in the right position on the back. Like that's where it's meant to be in the travel, and it like feels it's designed to do maybe. Yeah, it's good, man. Nice. Oh. It's good, man. No feedback through the pedals. Nice and stable under braking. What a palaver, but we've done it. We've done it. I don't get too excited. See if the bolt gets to the bottom of the hill. Also, we're running way more sag now. And I haven't been riding insane, but definitely haven't felt it bottom out at all. It feels fucking perfect. Yeah, sorry, I went quiet there for a bit. I don't have anything left to complain about. If I don't have anything to complain about, I don't have anything to say at all. Yes! Woo! Fucking rode a rough section perfectly. That was fucking great. That's the best the bike's rode since I had it just through that section then. That was... She's working. Oh god. Oh, the leaves make it terrifying. Yeah, let's try it out on something a bit more extreme. Whoa. Old. Whoa. Little chomps. That dog shit. Yeah, understeer in the front from the back going through too much travel and the front coming light. And then sometimes deliberately trying to keep your weight on the front and keep in a strong position and hold yourself forward to avoid that. Then the back is kicking out a lot, not drifting, like kicking out. So you start to go into a corner, there's maybe a bump or some loose ground, and you push in, you either push into the loose ground or you hit the bump. The wheel then comes up and the compression damping should slow it down enough to keep the wheel connected and pushing back into the loose ground or the bump. If it doesn't push back enough, it comes up too fast. The wheel goes through the travel too fast, and then you don't have enough weight left on the tyre because it's come up too fast and it's essentially coming off the ground, or it is actually coming off the ground sometimes. That's just the shock tune. Can't get any parts to upgrade the shock at the moment or find anybody to do it in a suitable time frame. But in hindsight, the suitable time frame was 4 months. Lol. Let's go riding. It does have that high pivot magic carpet feeling. I think I said in the last video there must be some pedal kickback, but I don't think there's any. I think there's zero pedal kickback. I just assumed that there was some. It's not a full sort of high pivot, but yeah, I think there's zero pedal kickback. Whee. That was a shit line, mate. All over the place. Yeah, I can't really bottom out the back. I can't bottom out. Oh. Oh, this bit. Oh, this bit's all new. It works, it bloody works. I can't get it to bottom out, or can't feel it bottom out. And there's a couple of things there, not massive, but the bottom out resistance is, I'm gonna say perfect. Thought it would bottom out on a couple of those things, and I was trying to just slam it into the ground with my legs when I landed. No, I didn't feel it. So that suggests to me that the sag is in a nice, suitable position. We did it. We bloody did it, guys. 2 runs on the mountain bike. Finally did it. We did a mountain bike ride on a mountain bike. 0 problems. Even the problem bolt stayed together. Even the problem bolt stayed tight. We did put about 1 litre of Loctite on there. And just the other one that we didn't re-Loctite. Just this side that we didn't re-Loctite, but we did last week when we rebuilt it. That one has come open nearly 1/8 of a turn in 2 runs, but everything's working great. The narrow wide chainring and our Sugru modifications and moving the bash guard have fixed the chain dropping completely. And yeah, it's riding really good, tracking good, smooth, quiet, and yeah, it works. apart from the ISCG tabs cracked, so that could be a warranty problem. Let's go for lunch. Right, that is as far as we got on the Norco shore testing. So the night before we filmed this, we did find a crack in the ISCG mount. Only a small crack. Must have been caused by a flying rock off the front wheel hitting the bash guard. I think this because the damage to the bash guard, or the mark on the bash guard, is like on the front or the top of the bash guard. You'd expect normally if you're grounding out on the floor on rocks or riding over things, you'd expect the damage to be underneath on the bottom of the bash guard. Plus, I didn't spend a lot of time on the bike. I don't remember hitting anything but a flying rock, quite common riding in the Alps or in Finale. And the impact to the bash guard cracked the ISCG mount. I put this on Instagram. One bike company who makes steel bikes simply said there's simply not enough weld around the ISCG mount. I don't know, I'm not an engineer, I'm not making these bikes, I'm trying to test them and give you customers the feedback. So now, because of the crack, the bike's getting collected and taken back for warranty check. So we had to take all the parts off the bike and put it back to original settings, and the bike's going back. I asked again for a refund or replacement. Bike 24 has 1XL left in stock, so I said you could just send me a replacement, or I want a refund on top of all the other problems. I don't want to wait 2, 3, 4, I don't know how long, weeks or months for the bike to go back, get checked, get sent for warranty, get the new frame, get the bike, all the parts rebuilt onto the new frame, back into a complete bike, send it back to me, and then maybe have the same problems again. It's too much for me to take. So yeah, it's going back. I'm going to do one more video with a response on what happens. I did also have Norco got in touch with me directly. I'm not sure exactly what I can say, but someone from Norco got in touch with me, said thanks for the candid feedback. We're taking a deep and critical look into our development and manufacturing processes. They're going to get back in touch with me, hopefully with an explanation or solution to all the problems I had. So that will hopefully be in a future video. Plus, I just got in the analysis from Andre XCR on the suspension kinematics. So all in the next video. Cheers. If you like what I'm doing, this is all off my own back. I'm spending all my own money on these bikes. No one's paying me anything. I bought a farm to build the garage, to do the testing. We're building trails in the garden to test on. And hopefully in the future, we're going to have much more quick, concise, well-made review videos for you guys. Completely independent and truthful. So yeah, like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. And maybe now my new competition giveaway website is live. This has been killing me now for months trying to get this live, but hopefully that's live in the description. If it's not, there'll be no link, so you'll have to wait a bit longer, and I'll have to wait a bit longer to try and actually make some money.